If you drive through almost any small town in America, you'll spot something green and yellow. It could be a tractor parked next to a barn, or a hat worn by a proud farmer. Those colors belong to John Deere, a company that's been around for nearly 200 years. The brand's green and yellow logo is more than just paint on metal. It's a symbol of hard work, tradition, and the backbone of rural America. John Deere started back in 1837, when a blacksmith named John Deere made a polished steel plow that could handle tough prairie soil. That invention changed farming, helping families grow more crops and build better lives. Over the years, the company's machines have gotten bigger, smarter, and more powerful. But the meaning behind that leaping deer remains the same: reliability, toughness, and a deep connection to the land. For many people, owning a John Deere isn't just about having equipment, it's about being part of something bigger. The name stands for quality. It stands for generations of farmers who wake up before sunrise and don't stop until the work is done. That's why any news about trouble at John Deere feels personal, especially for small towns and rural communities. But in the past year, that famous logo has become a symbol for something else too: uncertainty. Headlines about layoffs and plant closures are sparking questions and concerns. What's really going on at America's farming giant? John Deere has announced a series of layoffs and production cuts across its U.S. factories. These changes aren't small. In Iowa, the heartland of American farming, hundreds of workers have been told their jobs are ending. Plants in Illinois and Kansas are feeling the same pain. The company says fewer farmers are buying new equipment, so it has to slow down making tractors and combines. In 2024, John Deere said it would lay off almost 900 workers at its Waterloo and Ankeny, Iowa plants. Production lines are running slower, and in some places, they're stopping altogether. In May 2025, another 300 jobs were cut at a plant in Moline, Illinois. These layoffs aren't just numbers. They're families, friends, and neighbors in towns where John Deere is often the biggest employer. The company has also said it will move some production out of the U.S. and into countries like Mexico. This means even more uncertainty for workers who have built their lives around the factory. People who have worked there for decades are suddenly facing a future without steady paychecks. Small businesses that rely on those workers, like diners, repair shops, and grocery stores, are also feeling the pinch. John Deere isn't alone in making these tough choices, but for many in the Midwest, the layoffs feel like a punch to the gut, raising questions about the future of both the company and the communities that depend on it. So why is John Deere cutting jobs? The answer starts on American farms. Over the past 2 years, the price farmers get for their crops, like corn, soybeans, and wheat, has dropped a lot. When crop prices fall, farmers make less money. Less money means they hold off on buying expensive new tractors and combines. On top of that, the cost to borrow money has gone up. Interest rates are higher than they've been in years. Most farmers don't pay cash for big equipment, they take out loans. Now those loans are much more expensive, making new tractors a tough sell. Even farmers who want to upgrade their machines are waiting for better times. The cost of everything else on the farm, like fertilizer, diesel fuel, and seed, hasn't come down. This puts even more pressure on farm budgets. When it comes time to spend money, most farmers are hanging on to their old equipment a little longer. John Deere depends on strong farm incomes to sell new machines. When farmers tighten their belts, the company feels it too. That's why sales are falling and why John Deere is cutting back on production and jobs. The numbers behind John Deere's recent cuts tell a tough story. Since 2023, over 2,000 U.S. jobs have been cut across its factories. In Iowa alone, the Waterloo plant has seen 3 rounds of layoffs, totaling about 1,200 workers. In Dubuque, another 250 jobs were lost. These aren't just statistics. They represent families in towns where every job counts. The Waterloo plant, once the world's largest tractor factory, now has empty lines. Local schools, hospitals, and small businesses depend on the paychecks from these workers. When jobs disappear, the whole community feels the impact. House sales slow down, school enrollments drop, and even local sports teams feel the pinch. Some John Deere plants aren't just cutting jobs, they're closing parts of their operations for good. In Ottumwa, Iowa, the hay equipment line is winding down, and workers wonder if their town will ever be the same. For places that have counted on John Deere for generations, these changes are nothing short of life-changing. The pain doesn't stop at the factory gates. Local diners, hardware stores, and car dealerships all depend on those steady paychecks. When workers tighten their belts, so does everyone else in town. That's why these layoffs are about more than just one company. They're about the future of rural America. It's no surprise that politicians have a lot to say about John Deere's layoffs. In Iowa and Illinois, elected leaders have spoken out against moving jobs to Mexico. They say keeping factories and jobs in America is vital for small towns and the nation's food supply. Some leaders are calling for new rules to keep manufacturing in the U.S. Presidential candidates and members of Congress have visited affected towns promising to fight for workers. They criticize trade deals that make it easier for companies to move jobs abroad. Some want to raise taxes on companies that close U.S. plants, while others say better trade policies could help keep jobs at home. But it's a tough problem. John Deere says it has to compete with companies from all over the world. If making equipment in the U.S. is too expensive, the company risks losing business to cheaper imports. That's why the debate over trade and jobs is so heated, and why many workers feel caught in the middle. For now, the future of John Deere's U.S. jobs is uncertain. Political leaders are promising to help, but the decisions being made today will shape small towns for years to come. John Deere isn't the only company facing hard times. Rivals like Case IH, which is a brand owned by CNH Industrial and AGCO, are also cutting jobs and slowing production. The same problems, lower crop prices and high interest rates, are hurting everyone in the farm equipment business. Case IH recently announced layoffs at its Racine, Wisconsin plant, letting go more than 400 workers. AGCO, which owns Massey Ferguson, is reducing work hours in Georgia and Minnesota. Even smaller equipment companies are feeling the squeeze, with sales down across the board. These companies are all fighting for a smaller pool of customers. Farmers are delaying big purchases, and dealerships are stuck with unsold inventory. Everyone is hoping for a break, whether it's higher crop prices or lower interest rates. The troubles in the farm equipment industry show just how connected the economy is. When global prices change or the Federal Reserve raises rates, the ripple effects hit home in places like Iowa, Illinois, and Nebraska. All these companies are looking for ways to survive and hopefully bounce back when times improve. Despite the tough news, there are reasons to hope. John Deere and its rivals are investing in new technology. There are self-driving tractors, smart planters, and tools that use less fuel. Some experts believe these innovations could lead the next boom in farming equipment. John Deere's research labs are busy working on electric tractors and machines that can plant and fertilize fields without a driver. These advances mean fewer breakdowns and lower costs for farmers. The company is also improving its service, using apps and online updates to help farmers get the most from every machine. Innovation could help American factories too. If new products are built in U.S. plants, it could mean more jobs and stronger small towns. Some politicians are pushing for rules that encourage this kind of made-in-America growth. No one can say exactly when the farm economy will recover. But history shows that American farmers and companies like John Deere are tough and creative. With new technology and the right support, the green and yellow machines could lead the way again, giving hope to workers, families, and small towns across the heartland.